LeBron, do you feel like there's anything left to accomplish? I mean, you pretty much, checked off all the boxes. Is there
Is there anything
something
left for me to accomplish as a basketball player?
as a basketball player on the court or off the court?
Everything else is extra credit. I'll take it though. I love it. I love what I do.
And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly, truly fantastic day today. Welcome back to Fanboy Fridays. And Fanboys, we absolutely hope and wish that your day is going completely terrible. I can't put into words how terrible I hope your day is going, because you deserve it. The more I look at stuff about your king and the deplorable things he does, it makes me realize that anyone who supports this guy should not have good days. Bronny James. Bronny James being drafted to the Lakers may be it's a new low for the NBA, but not only is it a new low for the NBA, I believe that it's potentially about to set the NBA in another direction to hit even a newer low than it previously has been. The justification of Bronny James being in the NBA, playing for the storied franchise, the Los Angeles Lakers, has continually been LeBron James has earned it. He deserves to be able to play with his son, and this is making history. These are the two things that we continually hear over and over to justify Bronny James having a slot, taking someone else's place in the NBA. This is what we hear. And while, it's been many people doing videos, including myself, talking about how terrible of a player Bronny James is. Not only that, like I said, Bronny James, he just looks fearful out there. He looks scared and timid. And yeah, I really don't see him doing anything significant in the NBA. I just don't see it. But outside of that, what I really think we need to talk about is this new lowering of the standard. Because this is what this is. This is yet another example of how LeBron James, also known as the Deer, also known as the Duck, also known as the Flop, the No Defense, whatever you may call him yourself. On this channel, it's the Deer and the Duck. But this is another example of LeBron James lowering the standard, which he has been doing since he got into the NBA. But I would argue that this is a new low for even him, getting his son a spot in the NBA. So let me tell you why I think this is such a problem, such a terrible thing that Bronny James was able to get this spot in the NBA with the help of his father, LeBron James. Why this is such a terrible thing, despite people like Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp and everybody in mainstream media trying to tell us that, hey, LeBron James deserves this. LeBron James deserves to make a mockery of the NBA for his own self-gratification. Let me tell you why this is a problem. Because if you're going to accept Bronny James and the NBA on the basis of this is making history, on the basis of, oh, well, the Lakers are going to make a lot of money from people being curious about LeBron playing with his son, then this opens up the door for more of this foolishness. This opens up the door for the NBA to start doing everything simply based on the fact that, hey, it's going to draw eyes to the NBA. It's going to bring revenue to the NBA, except the game will suffer. The game of basketball will continue to suffer. It will continue to suffer more than it already has. And we've seen examples of this. One example I can think of is for those of you who have seen the movie Boys in the Hood. I remember when Boys in the Hood came out back in the day, I was so excited about that movie. And one of the reasons I was excited about that movie is because one of my favorite rappers at the time had a pretty major role in the movie, Ice Cube. And I thought Ice Cube did a pretty good job of acting in that movie. I really do. Even to this day, when I go back and watch it, I think Ice Cube did a good job in that movie acting. However, if I'm being honest, there's plenty of movies that Ice Cube has been in, and I would probably say most movies that Ice Cube has been in, that I don't think he does a good job acting at all. It's simply about him being Ice Cube, and how could he do that great of a job when there are actors who spent their whole lives dedicated to the art of acting, and Ice Cube is a rapper who they are using as star power to draw more eyes to the movie. But this opened up the door, and Ice Cube probably, I'm sure he wasn't the first star, but I remember around that time you kind of started to see more and more stars, more and more musicians or singers or rappers starting to star in movies. And, you know, I feel like before then it was kind of, it's one thing to have a rapper or a singer or, you know, some other form of entertainment make a cameo in the movie where they have a small part. But it's a whole different thing when you start making them the star of the movie, again, when they are rappers or singers. You know, they're not someone who spent their whole life acting. Another movie I can think of off the top of my head, if anyone has seen the movie Obsession with Beyonce, I thought she did a terrible job in that movie. Like, it was like the most unbelievable, terrible acting job that I had seen. And to me, she wasn't that great in Dreamgirls either. But again, she's a singer. She's not an actor. And if I'm gonna go see Beyonce, I'm gonna go see her sing, not act. But to me, this opened the door to lower the standard of movies, which is why I believe, and you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I believe movies aren't what they were. But things like this start to lower the standards. It's like you're having a singer or rapper star in the movie because you feel like, oh, well, it'll bring some star power. It'll bring another fan base to the movie. But it is lowering the standard of acting. Another thing that has lowered the standards is social media has been very detrimental to standards in any kind of art form or really in anything in general. Well, why is that? Because I'm sure you all remember early 2000s, I'm pretty sure this kind of when this stuff started, is when people would go viral for being terrible, right? And back then it was funny. It's like the world was laughing at them. And people would go bad for being a horrible singer or a horrible dancer or you know, just doing something that, you know, was embarrassing. And the world was laughing at them, but so many people were watching it. But what slowly started to happen was people started to recognize that, oh, I can embarrass myself for a bunch of attention, potentially a bunch of money on YouTube. And this is what started happening. People start being willing to make a complete fool of themselves for the money. Or, you know, or people were perfectly fine with being a terrible singer as long as they got the views. And slowly, this thing has flipped around to where the justification is, well, if you're making money, that justifies everything. If you're making money, it justifies everything. So now it's not just people laughing at these people who do ridiculous stuff. Now people applaud it. Cause it's like, oh, well, he's getting money. Well, she's getting money. That's all that matters. And so there's no integrity with anything anymore. So this is how these things start, is when you start letting people lower the standards. They've already been letting LeBron James lower the standards for his whole career. And then on his way out the door, he figured he'll slap the NBA fan base once again and show us how much he does not care about the game of basketball by getting his son a job with the Lakers. Again, this is the beginning of a new low. This is why this is such a huge problem to me. This is why this cannot be justified with the, oh, well, it's making history or LeBron James deserve it. No, nobody deserves this. And especially if you're going to be honest about what LeBron James deserves. I mean, the guy's been ruining the game for years. So, but that's a whole nother story. But even if you are of the belief that LeBron James has done a lot for the game of basketball, if you actually believe that, if you are actually delusional enough to buy into that, how does that make it okay? How does that mean he deserves to get someone a job in the NBA who does not deserve to be there, who is lowering the standards? And like I said, to me, this sets a precedence that if this is the route the NBA is going, to where it's like, oh, well, let's just get people in here who's going to draw attention. Then the NBA is going to eventually crash and burn. It's going to be, it's already something almost unrecognizable, but it's going to either crash and burn, or it's going to be completely morphed into something totally different. But this is why you cannot use the justification of money to do stuff like this. This is why you cannot use the justification of, oh, well, this is making history. What kind of history is it making when it is fabricated, when it is manufactured? I mean, this would be the equivalent of saying, oh, well, I'm about to make history by becoming the richest person in the world, and I have access to a printing press, where they print money, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna just print myself more money than anyone else has. And people are applauding like, oh, he's making history. No, I just manufactured history. It's not real. And this is not real with Bronny James. It's only real had Bronny actually made it on his own merit. That's when it becomes real. That's when it becomes justifiable. And I think at the end of the day, what this is really about is nothing is taken seriously anymore. We talk about the NBA on this channel, but nothing is taken seriously anymore. No form of art, no form of entertainment, and to me, you can't just use oh, well, it's just entertainment. Again, not according to the players of the past. It was much more than that. It was competition. It was proving yourself. It was playing for a reason bigger than yourself. It was playing for the team. It was playing for the fans. It was playing for your family. It was playing for the players who came before you, who held up the league so that you could have the opportunity to play now. It was serious. And now it has got to the point, and again, we're talking about the NBA, but this is all across the board. Whether you're talking about music, it's the same thing. Whether you're talking about movies, it's the same thing. It's like there was a certain seriousness about the art and the art form that you had to hold to a certain standard. Yes, we all know that music and movies and sports is not the most important thing in the world, but I would argue this: any job that you're doing that you're getting paid for, you should take with a certain amount of seriousness. If someone is paying you to do something, you should take that serious. And I say, even if you're working at McDonald's, until you find the next step, until you move up to the next step, you should take that serious, because that is the mindset that allows you to actually keep growing. But anyway, we're gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think about Bronny James? Do you think this is potentially the beginning of a new low for the NBA? The NBA further lowering the standards. Potentially the NBA now just looking for ways to draw eyes to the sport, which may include, hey, let's put a rapper in the NBA now. I know he spent his whole life rapping and he's not a basketball player, but he'll draw eyes to the sport. Hey, let's put Beyonce in the NBA, you know. That'll make history. Never have we took a R&B singer and just inserted her into the NBA. That'll make history. That'll make for good TV. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.